The International Committee of the Red Cross says he's shocked after seeing the aftermath of the Israeli attacks on Gaza.
I started with a tour of Shujaya neighborhood, where I saw a whole neighborhood in rubble and buildings destroyed beyond repair. And this leaves me with a deep feeling of shock and being shaken by what I have seen, by anger and frustration also about the fact that we were not able to prevent what was happening.
The ICRC President Peter Maurer is in Gaza on a 3-day mission to assess the situation on the ground following the announcement of a 3-day truce. 29 days of Israeli onslaught has killed 1,875 people, including 430 children. The UN says the war has displaced a quarter of Gaza's 1.8 million population. A surgeon with the ICRC says hospitals in Gaza are overwhelmed by the increasing number of casualties amid lack of medical supplies. The Spanish government has decided to temporarily freeze arms and military exports to Israel over Tel Aviv's offensive in the Gaza Strip. That's according to an exclusive report released by the Spanish daily El País. The decision was reached during a session of an inter-ministerial committee on arms manufacturing. Committee members include officials from the Prime Minister's Office, Economy Ministry, Foreign Ministry, Defence Ministry and Finance Ministry. Spain provides Israel with missile parts, fuses from hand grenades, mortar parts, electro-optical equipment and fire control systems. The decision will be reviewed again at the next committee session in September. Britain has also said it's reviewing all arms export licenses to Israel. Well, for more on this, let's go to Oregon and talk to Tim King, editor with globalnewscenter.com. Welcome, sir. Mr. King, how much has Israel become isolated after its recent war on Gaza?
Well, certainly more than ever. No one's seen anything like this reaction, with Bolivia branding Israel a terrorist state, with so many nations dissenting, even the U.S. State Department actually speaking out, while Obama continues the Israel has a right to defend itself rhetoric. I want to know why he doesn't say the Palestinians have a right to defend themselves too. Haven't heard that yet.
And how vulnerable is Israel to political and economic isolations?
I think it's very vulnerable, and certainly sanctions, which are so quickly levied upon other countries by the U.S. government and others, would be tremendously effective in bringing change. Israel didn't time this out with another event, which it normally does during these attacks on Gaza, usually something else like the Obama inauguration is taking place. And in this one, they just did it openly, and more eyes than ever have been on it. People are just suffering worldwide from the loss of these children, more than 300 children. And the lessons are not being learned. Nothing's changing. So it's very disappointing.
And how much have the people of the world become more aware about the situation going on in Gaza?
Well, I think very much. We've watched now, the first Muslim member of parliament step down in London. People are making their voices heard. Netanyahu shows no restraint, no will to try to find answers that leave people alive. And, there are so many other parts to this, like depleted uranium and other illegal weapons, or even if they're not illegal, they're immoral weapons, and the damage that they're doing in Gaza. And we all know that Gaza is not allowed to receive building supplies to rebuild after these Israeli attacks. So I think the world's very dialed in this time. And again, to see Israel branded as a terrorist state by legitimate nations is a real development.
All right, we'll leave it there for the time being. Many thanks to Tim King, editor of globalnewscenter.com from Oregon. Thanks for your time there, sir.